Welcome to Reflective Fashion Production. This is Like Love Luxury, to braid or not to braid. I'm really excited because there are so many things that are taking place, and I decided that week by week there's going to be something totally different. So if you follow me on all platforms, then you will see the difference. If you do not, then you can still catch everything that's going on over here, but there are some things that you may miss depending on how I structure things. But welcome. My name is Monica. I am a licensed cosmetologist. I go by beauty advisor. The reason why I go by beauty advisor is because it's more than just your hair. It's about hair, skin, and body. Today we are doing to braid or not to braid. I'm really excited because I am trying to get the foundation the way that I want it to. So we're going to talk about two things in this video. One of them is making sure that you clean your tools. So I'm in the process of cleaning this. It's not fully clean. I don't know if you can see that. So it's not fully clean, and I'm in the process of doing that. There's still hair in between, dust, and I found this. I found this in one of my containers, and I was just like, I need this. I need to use this. And in fact, it's important that you have one of these. I feel like everyone needs a paddle brush. I know. Everybody calls it whatever they want to call it, but this is a paddle brush. I love a good paddle brush, especially the way that it's shaped like this. I think it's important, especially when it comes to detangling hair. I know, brushing your hair. So this is what it is. When it comes to detangling hair, the first thing that I like to use is my fingers. This is my first tool when it comes to detangling hair, especially if you have waves, curls, and coils. And yes, curls and coils are two different things. And I personally want to step into 2025 saying no more calling coils kinky hair, because any hair can be kinky. However, that's not the definition of kinky. So we're going to call them what they are: waves, curls, and coils. So when it comes to having that foundation of hair, you want to start with just going through and just picking out your hair with your fingers and being very careful with that. In fact, I might do like a little tutorial on showing how to detangle your hair with your fingers. If you're interested in that, definitely leave a comment below. But I start with my fingers, and then what I like to do is spritz my hair down with the mist. Now, the mist is something that I created with Malia's Crown. Malia's Crown is um a hair product that I created a couple of years ago, just based off of defining your natural pattern of hair. And at one point I was saying curl pattern because that's what we were, conditioned to say that we had, excuse me, we had curls. However, I have coils. There's a difference between curls and coils, and we can talk about that a little bit later, not today. So like I said, starting off with my fingers, then spritzing my hair. And when I spritz my hair, I like to spritz my hair to make sure that I could feel the water in my hair. Just making sure that I have that water. And water is very good for your hair because it gives you that hydration. But there's a difference in having standing water on your hair and your hair soaking in that water, and then it's just soaking it up too much. There's a difference in that. And that is called low porosity, high porosity, mid porosity. And a lot of us need to make sure that we have normal porosity. And I just feel like a lot of us have low porosity hair because we're not taking care of our hair like we should. And we're not going to see our hairstylist, our beautician, or whoever you go to on the consistent basis. We aren't consistent with our hair. And that's okay, but we all have to acknowledge that. And I think that that's something that should, start that conversation. So what we want to do here on Like Love Luxury when it comes to braid or not to braid is making sure that we are consistent and we have a hair routine. So after I spritz my hair, I like to go through my hair again with my fingers and just pick it out. Pick it out and section it. And once I section it, and because my hair is short, I like to make sure that I section it in 4 parts. So I go down the middle, and then I take this in half, and I have one section here, one section here, one section here, one section here. And I start with my wide tooth comb. I don't have my wide tooth comb here because I'm not cleaning it. I'm cleaning her. And this is, like I said, a paddle brush. After you use your wide tooth comb, and in the midst of your detangling your hair, you want to spritz it more. So as you're spritzing it and you're detangling, you take that wide tooth comb, you comb it through, you use your fingers again, and this is where the paddle brush comes in. If you are paddling your hair, like just combing it through, you'll be able to like detangle it. This is the last tool that you use when it comes to detangling your hair and making sure that your hair is detangled. And this, my friends, I use this for myself. I never really use this on other people. They get scared. If a stylist came to you and was like, "Yeah, we're about to detangle your hair." Not my hair. you know, that's true. They'll get scared, but I use this for me because it actually really helps. It helps, and on top of that, the little frizz at the end, I don't see that, especially when I'm staying consistent with my hair. And I used to be consistent with my hair once a week, and that's where I'm getting back into. That's part of the reason why I haven't put color in my hair, is because I hadn't been consistent, and it's important on having consistency. Okay, so that is part one of me talking about tools. So make sure you are cleaning your tools and you're using your own tools. You're not obligated to clean your tools every day. So I suggest that you clean your tools at least once a week, because are you using your tools every day? If you're using your tools every day, then yes, go ahead and clean your tools. But if you're using your tools about once a week, make sure you have implemented, oh, I need to clean my tools. Clean as you go, like in the kitchen, cleaning as you go. I think that's important too. But if you are doing a deep cleaning on your tools, once a week. Let's talk about it. I'm excited. I am so excited. So this is my baby that I used to have when I was in school. And I used to practice a lot when it came to my braiding in school, because first of all, I moved from Missouri to South Carolina, so I was trying to build up my clientele, and I really wanted people to see what I could do. However, at the same time, you have to get butts in your chair. It's very hard, and I see a lot of people talk about that. But if people are willing to chair hop, your first impression is everything. At the same time, I have, how can I put this? I've had people sit in my chair and not really like, what I do, and then they move on. And that's totally fine. But I think that you should at least give it 6 months. If you are with a stylist and you are talking to them, I think it's important to give a person 6 months. That gives you the opportunity to see what they can do with your hair. Um, and I'm saying this because when people sit in my chair and they get a consultation, the consultation is a first appointment and is important, because with my consultation, it comes with a hair analysis. It also comes with a hydrating shampoo and a selective style, which comes across to be $85. And that's time spent with me on making sure that we can get a hair routine. Then you have options. And those options are, you have putting in place consistency of what's going to happen with your hair routine. So are you going to come to me weekly? Are you going to come to me every other week? Are you going to come to me once a month, or are you going to come to me every 6 months? And this is where every 6 weeks. I said 6 months, every 6 weeks. And this is where it's important to understand that the 6 months rule. If you're just like, give it 6 months. And I say give it 6 months because that gives you the opportunity to get your ends clipped. That gives you the opportunity to get the deep conditionings. And that gives you the opportunity to say, okay, will I be able to maintain my hair by myself, or am I able to go to someone else that I feel like I like? Okay. Everybody has their own opinion about things, but this is just my opinion, and this is my time span of what I like to do. So the first appointment is a consultation. And I know a lot of people are like, what? When it comes to a consultation is important, because that is your time. So are you going to make sure that you spend that hour accordingly and you have questions, or are you going to just, shoot the shit and waste time? I mean, it really just depends. What are you looking for when it comes to having someone take care of your hair? What is it that you're looking for? That should be the number one question. Um, when it comes to my consultations too, I also want to make sure that I'm looking at your hair. So the next appointment when you book is about a deep conditioning and a trim. Now, if you're like, okay, I want all of this in our consultation, that's an upcharge. So we're going to just be completely honest. That's an upcharge. However, if you want to gauge your appointments in your budget, because it's very important to put your beauty on a budget. And if you're not budgeting your beauty within your budget that you have for your household and all that good stuff, then it's going to be very difficult to do. And that's something that I decided that I'm going to talk about more on Patreon, and we're going to get our Patreon pushing and moving within the next couple of months. And so, um, just making sure that you're able to get your deep condition in, your ends trimmed. And with the 6 months, I just wholeheartedly believe that that's where you can see if it's worth it. 6 months is worth it. I've been working with different clients, and I've been on my own in Missouri since May. So from May to now is actually about 6 months. And I have a few people with me, but it's just like, oh, well, I have to reschedule. I have to reschedule. And even with that, if you're rescheduling your appointments, you're not really taking the time to really go in on that 6 month journey on, keeping up with, okay, so every 6 weeks I'm getting my hair trimmed and making sure that you're consistent. And we're not consistent enough when it comes to our hair. I'm gonna be completely honest, me neither. Because in May I cut my hair and I wanted this real cute style, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do, and I changed my mind. Just like that, I changed my mind, and then I went through like this semi slump. I mean, that's what I'm gonna call it. I went through a semi slump, and I was having a hard time because my hair wasn't what I really wanted. I needed something else, but I cut it too short, and I just didn't know what to do with it. And I think that that's another thing to have a conversation with your stylist, is to talk about, your styles and what you want to do with your hair. Now, when it comes to braiding, I'm really excited. I started off as a hair braider, and I think I'm going to do a story time and talk about my journey as a beauty advisor and where I came up with beauty advisor. So I'm going to talk about that too. But I started off as a hair braider, and I used to braid. I started braiding when I was like 15, 16, and I would braid the little boys' hair in school. I would braid a few people's hair just around, and I love actually doing crochet. Crochet was everything to me, and I know a lot of people don't like them. However, crochet is the protective style, and I'm gonna do a video about protective styles, and we're gonna talk about more of that, because I think a lot of people don't understand what protective style actually means when it comes to protecting your hair. So, this is my braiding that I did a couple of years ago. Someone was like, they sent me a picture, and I was just like, okay, well, that's inspiration. Just remember, a picture is inspiration. And so I executed what she wanted on my mannequin. And with me doing that, I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna cut her hair, because I need a baby that has short hair and braids. When it comes to certain styles, I wanted to make sure that, okay, this is what you're wanting. So at one point it was just like, I'm braiding, I want to make sure that they see this is what it looks like, because your picture is inspiration. And I had just where I had a client who didn't really like their hair, and they never told me. I just found out on social media, and that really did hurt my feelings. I just feel like when it comes to clientele and someone not liking their hair, I just really appreciate it if you would, come to me and say, hey, I don't like this. So we can actually take the time to fix your hair, because you paid for it. I think that that's important. If you pay for something and you're not really liking it, I think it's important to speak up so that we can take that time to fix what you don't like. Now, there is a difference in like just nitpicking and not liking it, or just saying, I really wanted that picture. However, let me clarify. A picture is inspiration. Because if you see something, say for instance, like I'm getting ready to braid some hair now, and I have a picture that is inspired by their hairstyle. However, they want they want individual braids, and then they want their hair braided like to the back with these individual braids. So they're just like, okay, this is like a freestyle, but this is what I want the front of my hair to look like. It's an inspiration because, first of all, she has short sides, and secondly, she does have that part in the back, but she also has hair cut off. And you'll see who I'm talking about soon. She's always my client, always telling me what to do. But her hair does come out really good, and I really do like the fact that it does. So one of the things that I really wanted to talk about is braiding on different types of hair. So there are different hair types when it comes to braiding, and a lot of us tend to hmm, we see things that we want, and we necessarily not necessarily can't have it, but you can, depending on what type of hair you have. So if you have low density hair, and you're just like, what is low density? Low density is basically just the hair per square inch on your head. So if you have low density hair, then it's going to be harder for you to actually establish certain hairstyles when it comes to braiding. If you have high density hair, your hair is going to be a lot heavier, so you have to be careful on the hairstyles that you pick. And high density, like I said, density is basically the hair per square inch that you have on your head. And we don't really talk about the density of hair. We'll just say, oh, they have thick hair. Oh, they have this type of hair. And in that category of thick hair, I'm going to just be honest with you. I personally feel like when it comes to thick hair, they're talking about the coarse. Let's see, the texture of the hair, and how it feels. So coarse to me, when someone says thick hair, I'm just like, okay, I can understand that. But when they're talking about high density, they're talking about the hair per square inch. So for me, I just feel like, okay, so if someone has high density hair, they could definitely have fine hair, having high density. You could definitely have um, coarse hair and have high density. You could have fine hair and have coarse hair. You could have fine hair and have high density hair as well. Um, there's just a lot. For me, I think that there's just so much when it comes to hair and hair braiding that we just don't take the time to talk about, and that's what we're going to move. That's what we're going to do moving forward when it comes to coloring. I'm a color girl. I love to color hair. If you can't tell, because this is not her original hair. Um, but I personally also like to freestyle too when it comes to braiding hair. I think I'm gonna fix this because I mean I see some things that are wrong, but I really want to start really taking the time to say, you know what, it's gonna take this amount of time to do this, and I feel like I've gotten a lot better when it comes to timing and braiding hair, and I think that that's important as well. Um, Putting yourself on the time. If you are a braider and you're just like not wanting to take all day, you don't have to take all day. You can do that for yourself. Give yourself a time limit. Actually, mapping your hair out is very important as well. So if you're like, okay, I gave myself 6 hours and this is how long it's gonna take. It's gonna take some time. And if you're whipping it out like, oh, I got this, go for it. I recently I just did somebody hair and I'm like, oh, I could get this done in 3 hours, but it took the time that I said, and I was just like, why did it take me so long? I think because I started to slow down. So my next time I'm gonna be like, you know what? I can just get better at my time. So when it comes to box braids, when it comes to twists, when it comes to crochet, I like to make sure that the 3 hour mark, I go by 3 hours. So I give myself that time. So 3, 3, and 3. So say for instance, it's going to take me 3 hours to do this. It's going to take me 6 hours to do this. It's going to take me 9 hours to do this, so that people will understand this is what it is. This is how long we're going to have to be here for braiding, for twisting. When it comes to color, is a little bit different because it's a process. And even though we're talking about braids today, we're not talking about color. A lot of people that have locks or braids in their hair, they do have color. Like I have color in my hair right now. My hair is lifted, so it's not natural. And I know a lot of people talk about, oh well, I have natural hair. No, once you manipulate your pattern of hair, you no longer have natural hair. So if you are putting heat on your hair, you no longer have natural hair. And not a lot of people have natural hair these days. We don't talk about those things, and that's something that we're gonna bring in, talking about when it comes to like love luxury, to braid or not to braid. So each week we're going to have a section. We're going to have like love luxury face to face. We're going to talk about skincare, body, everything. We're going to talk about that. We have like love luxury to braid or not to braid. And we have like love luxury self-awareness. And self-awareness is really like close to my heart. And that's the Mirror Check presents self-awareness. It's close to my heart because I believe the foundation of self-care is self-awareness. If you aren't really taking the time to love yourself, you're going to forget how to take care of yourself. So I hope you really enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you are interested in anything, definitely drop a comment below, because what we're going to start doing is basically getting to the point. I watch a few of my videos. I'm like, get to the point. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to start getting to the point. And I'm really excited that I found her and I found my brush. So make sure that you are cleaning your tools, and you're being consistent with your hair. Being consistent with your craft is really important as well. That's how you create the lifestyle that you want to live.